Love peut amener du dynamisme et énergiser ces deux futurs compagnons de trio-là. Ce soir, c'est l'année. Kapanen est là, mais bon, je pense que tu as été clair en ce qui a trait à la chaise que Dak va avoir en début d'année. Est-ce qu'il y a ce potentiel-là, lui, d'amener de l'énergie? Je me permets de préciser, tu sais, quand Stamkos est rentré avec toi, il était jeune, puis tout ça, il vous a peut-être amené quelque chose avec sa jeunesse. Est-ce que Davidov peut faire ça?
Mm-hmm. Je pense que les jeunes amènent beaucoup d'enthousiasme. Cole est pareil. Lane est pareil. C'est contagieux. Ils amènent une énergie d'amis, une passion qui devrait être contagieuse.
Je te relance sur Kapanen. S'il réussit à se tailler une place, on ne devine pas dans le rôle qu'il va occuper ce soir. Comment tu vois justement la valeur des répétitions qu'il y a dans ce rôle-là, sachant que c'est pas nécessairement le rôle qu'il attendrait au mois d'octobre?
Ben, c'est une opportunité, c'est des bonnes répétitions pour lui. S'il va être ici, s'il ne va pas ici, je ne sais pas. Quelle sorte de rôle, on n'est pas sûr encore, mais c'est la chose la plus importante pour le joueur. C'est sûr, c'est un rôle, c'est important, mais la game collective à 5 contre 5. Moi, qu'est-ce que j'aime de Capé, s'il est capable de jouer cette game-là collective. Il comprend que la game de hockey, c'est une game d'équipe. C'est une game qui joue à 5 sur la glace, avec la rondelle, sans la rondelle, offensivement, défensivement. Fait que c'est sûr, c'est une opportunité pour lui. Puis c'est de continuer à aller essayer de faire sa place.
Marty, yesterday we got to take a peek at what your power play units might look like. Seems to be a very balanced approach, and really would be nitpicking to call one power play 1 and power play 2. I'm just wondering if you could take us through the thought process you went through in forming those groups.
Yeah, well, I think we're going to get steered in a direction. It's hard to work on your real 2 units game 1 of preseason, but you're trying to put pieces where you feel they would most likely be in that spot, whether you change the unit or not. I feel like I have a lot of flexibility. I have more. Actually, we have more talent. So it's a puzzle, and there's more than one way to do it, and we're going to keep evaluating. But we're trying to put guys in a situation where they're most likely going to be, and we'll figure out that puzzle as we go.
It's pretty clear watching camp so far that next to Newhook and Woods, there's a spot there that players can hope for. Beck, I think, is playing center tonight. How do you see him? How do you see his play on the wing, and does him playing center does that not give you an opportunity to see him play on the wing?
Yeah, no, I wouldn't. We saw what we saw in the scrimmages, and now you get the games, you get to evaluate that, try different things. I wouldn't overthink that. We know that he can play both center and wing, and you don't have enough players on your team that can do that. So, to me, more than anything is for Beck to just stay play to his identity. Whether he's down the middle or on the wing, he's got to have a physical presence, responsible, and be disruptive. And I'm sure there's a good chance we'll see him on the wing again. But there's an opportunity to see other things.
This game obviously doesn't get easier for guys over age 30.
What's that?
This game doesn't get easier for guys after age 30 as they get older.
Why? What do you mean by that?
Physically, I guess maybe physically, it's to continue to compete later on in your career. The question I'm getting to is with Brendan Gallagher. What's impressed you about the way he's been able to maintain his game and the way he played last season? Or what can you learn from him maybe about physically being able to play as long as he has played and as long as you played in the NHL?
Yeah, you got to be willing to evolve as a player. The game always changes a little bit. I know Gally has a history of being, crashing the net and tipping pucks, and we never want to take that away from him, But what I like about Gally is I feel like his game has evolved, since, we started working together, and you have to. If you want to stay efficient in this league as you get older, obviously you have to be in good shape, which Gally is. You know, you got to be healthy, which Gally is, but you got to keep evolving. The game evolves, and so if you can learn anything from that is, take care of the body and stuff, but, like, you know, don't be closed-minded, because what has worked up to now is it's not just going to be good enough. You got to keep evolving.
How did your game evolve then later in your career?
I mean, I became a smarter player. You know, I think, you know, reading the game is a big part of it, so that you can anticipate. And, you know, sometimes it's not necessarily foot speed, you know. If you can anticipate, you see it happening before everybody else, you usually win the race. So you look fast, but it's just because you had a quicker start. So to me, reading the game is very important.
Bonjour Martin.
Bonjour.
J'ai deux questions pour toi. Tout d'abord, à propos de l'avantage numérique, dans quelle mesure c'est une priorité ou important pour toi de maintenir les trios à 5 contre 5 sur tes unités? C'est-tu été une valeur qui t'a guidé là-dedans?
Ben, pour les games d'exhibition, je te dirais oui. C'est-tu plus facile? Ça peut être une longue réponse, là, je m'excuse. Là. Mais, tu sais, c'est sûr. Si ton avantage numérique est excellent, puis les gars sont contents où ce qu'ils sont, puis en plus, ils jouent sa main league, c'est plus facile pour moi pour gérer la cadence, la chimie, whatever. Ça, c'est le scénario parfait. Mais c'est impossible que ça, tu vas toujours avoir ça. Des fois, tu l'as, c'est une chance que tu as ça, là, tu sais. Fait que nous autres, c'est toujours monter le pourcentage à l'issue du succès. C'est juste ça qu'on est après. T'sais. Fait qu'on va gérer ça. T'sais. Est-ce que notre première unité va être meilleure si on a des gars de différents trios puis ils nous donnent une meilleure chance de gagner? On va aller avec ça. T'sais. Mais c'est sûr, ça serait idéal que tu as deux unités qui brouillent pas toutes les lignes, puis sont tous contents du spot qu'ils sont. Ça, c'est idéal, mais j'approche ça en sachant que je suis pas sûr que c'est ça qui va arriver. Puis je suis prête pour avoir des conversations avec les joueurs, puis leur vendre pourquoi ci, pourquoi ça. Puis je le sais qu'ils ont toute la petite place qu'ils aimeraient bien être. Fait que, mais c'est la job de l'entraîneur. Fait que c'est pas quelque chose que faut absolument qu'ils jouent sur la même ligne. Mais c'est sûr, ça serait un scénario parfait, mais c'est pas une ligue facile.
Par ailleurs, par ailleurs, tu as dit l'autre jour qu'il y a des choses que tu voulais dans ton approche du camp d'entraînement, que tu voulais faire un peu différemment cette année comparé à l'année passée. Là, on a vu déjà hier Toronto, Ottawa, un peu d'escarmouche, etc. Il y a des gars des juniors ou des gars de la AHL qui veulent se montrer durant un camp d'entraînement. Fait que cette année, c'est quoi ton message pour tes réguliers, pour les gars de la NHL, durant les matchs du camp d'entraînement?
Je te dirais, si on est capable de jouer avec cette intensité-là dans des scrimmages, un contre l'autre, on devrait avoir la même ou un petit peu plus haut. Tu sais? On ne peut pas reculer là, parce que c'est un match d'exhibition. Moi, je parle toujours « where's your edge ». Est-ce que nos scrimmages, de la manière qu'on les a attaqués, ça nous a-tu donné un edge? Je ne sais pas qu'est-ce que le reste ils font. Puis là, mais si on amène ça à des games d'exhibition, si on stack les journées, une après l'autre, tu vas-te chercher un petit edge? Je ne sais pas, mais tu te donnes une chance. Tu montes les pourcentages. Puis je pense que tu n'as pas qu'est-ce qu'on a vu là dans le scrimmage? Tu n'as pas ça sans que tes vétérans leaders buy-in, puis let's go. T'sais, fait que le reste du monde n'a pas le choix de suivre. T'sais, fait que c'est encourageant pour l'entraîneur.
Le prochain, c'est GF. On va terminer avec Alexandre Gaston parce que Martin doit retourner sur la patinoire et les joueurs attendent déjà en ligne. Alors, GF.
Salut Martin.
Bonjour.
Faire ça vite. Question au sujet d'Alex Belzile. C'est quoi la valeur d'un vétéran comme Belzile pour une organisation, que ce soit avec le Rocket, que ce soit ici au camp? Tu l'as coaché il y a 2 ans. C'est important.
Ben, c'est un vrai vétéran. Tu sais, moi, je le dis, t'as t'as les joueurs honnêtes, puis t'as le reste. Il n'y a rien dans le milieu, là. Tu sais? Fait que, tu sais, Belzile, c'est un joueur honnête. Tu sais, il a une très belle intelligence. Il prend soin des jeunes aussi. C'est un bon enseigneur aussi. Tu sais, il est capable d'enseigner. Tu sais, fait que... tu sais, puis si t'as des... tu sais, si Belzile, il est dans notre line-up, mais c'est pas un trou. Tu sais, il est capable de faire la job. Puis pas mal tout. Tu sais, il peut jouer à l'aile, il peut jouer au centre, puis il peut jouer sur le power play, il peut jouer sur le piqué. C'est un gars très, très intelligent, responsable, puis il sait c'est quoi sa job. Que ce soit n'importe quoi, il va la faire.
Petite relance sur Beck Martin. Pendant le camp des recrues, Pascal Vincent disait on a besoin de le spécialiser davantage au Owen Beck pour qu'il comprenne peut-être où est-ce qu'il est sa niche pour pouvoir se tailler une place dans la Ligue nationale. J'imagine que tu as à peu près la même lecture du jeu. Puis est-ce que c'est parce qu'il s'est éparpillé un peu trop l'année dernière? Est-ce qu'il courait après de l'attaque? Qu'est-ce que tu veux voir de lui, peu importe dans la position qu'il va jouer, là, pour qu'il essaye justement?
Mais je pense qu'il faut toujours... Tu sais, tous les joueurs qui arrivent ici, c'était tous des joueurs de premier plan, power play, tu sais, tout ça. Tu sais. Puis là, mais quand tu arrives à cet stage-ci de ta carrière, il faut que tu réalises, mais c'est quoi? Comment que tu ajustes ta game? Parce que c'est qu'est-ce qu'ils ont besoin. T'sais. Puis ça ne veut pas dire que tu perds tout ce que tu faisais avant, mais il faut vraiment que tu rentres dans les détails sur le rôle que peut-être que ça va te donner une chance de percer la Ligue nationale. Puis un coup, tu perces, mais peut-être ton rôle va changer, mais au moins tu l'as percé parce que tu as ajusté une coupe d'affaires. Puis c'est souvent beaucoup les détails de la game. Mais, tu sais, j'ai pas le contexte de la question que tu as posée à Pascal, mais tu sais, c'est de continuer à maturer comme joueur, puis vraiment à montrer, c'est ça mon identité, tu sais. Fait que c'est un bon joueur.
Merci beaucoup.
OK, merci.
You two would have played together at Northeastern, right?
Yeah, he was my captain freshman year. He's a great guy, so he was texting me too last night. They don't get in until today, but it would have been nice to grab dinner or something. But yeah, he's a good friend of mine.
What kind of leader was he?
He was, he was just like such a great guy. Like he was, he wasn't like outspoken. Like, he got his words in when he had to, but he was more just felt, made the younger guys feel included and everything. And I know I hung out with him a ton my freshman year, and he just kind of, made me feel welcome to the team. So he's, can't say anything bad about him.
Jayden, I'm wondering how you're viewing, there's battles for a roster spot and there's battles for a lineup spot.
Mm-hmm.
They're two different things sometimes. And so how do you're in a battle for a lineup spot right now.
Mm-hmm.
How do you find yourself over-interpreting every decision that's made, or like how are you mentally approaching it or looking at, what you have to accomplish this week?
Honestly, no, not at all. Like, I think I just have to play like hockey, and like I have to play, the best game that I can, and that's all I'm focused on. Like this game tonight, just take every shift, play hard, and the next game do the same thing. Every practice do the same thing, and then wherever I'm at the end of camp, I am. And I started not in last year. I ended up in. I was out. Like it doesn't really. If you think too much about it, it just gets you nowhere.
Does that change your perspective? Is that
like the experience last year? Like, I don't know, do you have a better perspective on it now than you did a year ago?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, even just the fact that, you know, I was out for, I mean, it felt like forever, but then I came back in and I played some of my best hockey. So it's, you know, I know that I can play, and, you know, I know that I'll always be ready to get in there. So it's, yeah, it doesn't change much.
Having some experience in those kind of situations is helping a lot to stay composed.
Yeah, I mean, it's, like you said, it's like nothing I haven't been through before. You know, I'm not going to be afraid to make mistakes because, I mean, you don't play good hockey that way. So, you know, I'm going to try to play loose and, you know, obviously with urgency and intent. But, you know, if I mess up and get sat, you know, I've been sat before, I'll be back and be better. So it's, I'm not going to try to, you know, grip my stick too tight or anything. It's just I know how to play the game and just going to try to do what I know how to do.
Is there something that you want to do more this year or differently? Une chance de porter ce logo-là sur le chest.
Ben, c'est sûr que c'est motivant. Écoute, tous les Québécois qui ont la chance de jouer à Montréal, je pense que t'as pas besoin de beaucoup de motivation pour être motivé. Mais non, je suis très, très content d'être revenu. J'ai quand même passé 5 belles saisons avec l'organisation. Puis, mon but, c'est encore une fois, je me répète, mais c'est d'arriver à toutes les changer sur la glace, d'essayer de brûler les cartes, puis de laisser une belle marque de commerce.
Ton compte vient juste de te louanger pendant un bon 2 minutes. La relation. Tu aurais écouté ça après. La relation que tu as avec Martin, demain, c'est ça. La relation que tu as avec Martin, ça ressemble à quoi? T'sais, il semble vraiment respecter l'expérience que tu as et tout.
J'ai une belle relation avec Martin. Il y a 2 ans, j'avais joué plus que 30 games, donc j'ai eu une chance, dans le fond, de le côtoyer, pas juste quelques jours, de vraiment apprendre de lui. Puis, c'est un gars qui est extrêmement motivé, qui est motivateur. Donc, c'est très facile d'écouter quand il dit de quoi.
Qu'est-ce que tu trouves qui a changé en 2 ans ici? Je ne sais pas si tu es capable de mesurer un avant-après.
Dans le quotidien, pas beaucoup, je te dirais. Il y a 2 ans, les gars, ils avaient une belle attitude. La gang est très positive. C'est un groupe qui est très tissé serré aussi. Là. Vous l'avez peut-être découvert un petit peu plus dans les dernières années, mais c'est vraiment un groupe unique. J'étais dans d'autres organisations, puis les gars, ils sont pas tous ensemble tout le temps comme à Montréal, dans le fond. Je trouve que c'est vraiment, vraiment important dans les clubs, qu'éventuellement, des clubs gagnants qui remportent des trophées, ben c'est vraiment l'esprit de camaraderie, puis c'est tous des frères ensemble qui poussent dans la même direction, puis je pense que ça, it goes long way.
Marty just said one of the things he likes about you is you're an honest hockey player. What does that mean to you, and what makes you an honest hockey player?
Being an honest, I don't know. I'm just like I'm playing my game. Like it doesn't matter. Some night you might not feel great with the puck or whatever, but you can do so much more other things than just playing with the puck. And I think being consistent is a big part in hockey. Not having those really bad games that you get exposed out there, and that's a thing I learned with age. When I was younger, sometimes you do make a turnover, and then the next shift you try to make a great play, but that should not be the mindset. You should be just consistent, and the game will open up by itself, and then your natural will talk. So that's a thing I learned. Yeah.
Tu en avais parlé tantôt, Alex.
I think, each guy has different strengths. I think each guy has to do well at their job. Obviously, Patty has such a great shot over there. You want to look to try and set him up, and for me and Demi to play off one another well. And obviously, the guy in the middle is looking to get open for Demi, and Gally does a great job for the net. So, hopefully we can get some good reps out there tonight, work off each other well, execute, and try and score a couple.
How would you describe your approach for tonight?
Like any other game, I think you want to play well. Obviously, it's the first preseason game. You want to make sure you're playing the right way, taking care of the details, all those little things. And at the end of the day, you're working towards being ready at the opening night. But you want to prepare like any other game. And it's exciting for me, first game with the jersey on. So just feed off those emotions and have a good game.
What did you like or not like about playing at the Bell Center as an opponent?
I personally, I loved playing here every game. Not that it was ever easy, but like as a player in Canada, it's always a great atmosphere. The fans, even though they weren't cheering for you, it's fun to play in. But yeah, it was always a tough game coming in here. I think the team feeds off the crowd and energy very well, and I'm sure after seeing the rookie game, I'm sure it'll be a great atmosphere tonight too, which will be exciting.
What kind of reception do you think you'll get tonight from the fans?
I'm not sure, but knowing the fan base, I'm sure it'll be good. They treat the players so well. Doesn't matter who you are, they love the team so much. Their passion, which is great as a player. That's all you can ask for.
As a righty power play quarterback, how would you describe like the opportunity to play with a guy like Patty on your left? Like, is it more easy for you to feed on your left on the power play when there's a righty like Patty for the one-timer?
Yeah, I think sometimes for sure. Some guys like getting righty to righty, or some guys doesn't really bother them. But I think for me, it's obviously a natural pass over there. It's easy to see Patty over there, and but I think the main thing is just making sure you execute, put in a good spot where he can get a good shot off, and if you give him that opportunity, a lot of the times it has a great chance to go in. So that'll be definitely something I'll be looking for.
Marty was speaking about playing with intensity and edge in game number one. You're an established guy in the league. You're a vet. Do you just yourself jump into the deep end? Do you ease in? Like, how do you approach kind of preseason game number one?
No, I think you jump right in. I think you got to lead the way, lead by example. It's the team's first preseason game. We want to get off to the right foot. At the end of the day, you're building your game and wanting to make sure so when it starts for real on October 8th, you're already in that mode. So it starts tonight. Each game's an opportunity, and yeah, I'm sure the guys, after seeing the scrimmages, the intensity, the physicality, guys will be jumping right in. I know a lot of guys are excited to get out there. So, yeah, you want to jump right in and like any other game.
And on that note, I mean, as a veteran, when you face in preseason guys that are either from junior or AHL try to make a name for themselves, it's different. It's more chippy out there. How do you maneuver through that to make sure that you yourself is going to get yourself ready for the beginning of the season?
Yeah, I mean, you see it like there's lineups, guys. Obviously, a lot of the home times, there's a lot of NHL players, and the way teams send maybe guys looking to make the team. But sometimes in preseason, those are the harder games. The intensity is a lot higher. But yeah, you approach it like any other game. You can't control what other guys or the other teams doing out there. You got to focus on your game. Make sure you're making the right plays, playing the right way, and playing as a team.
I know you and Mike Matheson rode there early with Adam Nichols. Nichols is sort of new to you. What have you liked about him and just the way he does the hockey development stuff?
Yeah, he's obviously been super great to work with him. I think he's been a huge asset and tool to the team, even just throughout the summer. Just getting those reps, and he's a guy that cares and has a lot of passion. He wants to do whatever he can to help the guys and help the team, and as a player that's contagious, and he puts in a lot of hours and time with the guys, so it's great to get to work with him, and he's been great for all the guys getting ready for the season.
No, I want to go back to 2019 when you would have won the Memorial Cup with Miranda. Raphael Harvey-Bernard would have been your captain at the time. Just what do you remember most about that run with that group?
Yeah, it was special. It was great. I joined them just for the second half of the season. Great group of guys. Raphael was awesome guy. He's full of energy, always got a smile on his face, a great laugh. So yeah, I enjoyed my time playing with him. He was a great captain. Obviously, when you win championships with a group, it's a special bond. You kind of have that forever. So we've kind of tried to stay in touch a little bit here and there. And yeah, I'm excited to see him doing well. And he's a great teammate, great captain, and great energy.
What type of leader was he as captain of the team?
I would say I think he was just like full of like always positive, great energy each day. No matter no good or bad days, he was always the same, Raphael, and as a player that's contagious with the group. If your leader is coming in each day, whether it's after a bad loss or a great win, and has that same demeanor, I think that's great. And yeah, he was great to play for, and love his energy, his laughter, his smile every day. So it's fun to be around.
How excited is your family about seeing you play for the Canadiens?
Yeah, they're super excited. obviously a little closer than New York in Canada, so they're super excited. They'll be down for the I think the first week or 3 home games, so they're looking forward to it, and it's cool for them. It's lots of friends and family back home. I'm sure will be up for games, so that's exciting, and knowing that you're going to have lots of support throughout the year.
Fans going to pay attention to you tonight, probably, as you know. Is there a kind of
and yet you're playing center tonight for this first exhibition game. So how do you manage the way that you can showcase yourself, but maybe in a different role than the one that you ultimately can hope for?
Yeah, I mean, I've grown up playing down the middle. You know, I'm no stranger to it, and I think that, you know, whether you're starting a shift on the wing or starting at center, there's a good chance, you know, you could end up in a different position in the D zone. I think, you know, Marty talks about pretty positionless hockey in this day and age, so you got to be able to play all over the ice, and I think tonight I can just show I can be responsible down low.
How are you mentally digesting being in sort of a legitimate NHL training camp battle for a roster spot? I don't think realistically last training camp, I don't know if you could aspire to be, but it looks like this year you have a legitimate chance. How's that changing the way you approach every time you step on the ice? Are you trying to avoid it changing how you approach it? Like, how are you taking it in?
I don't know. It's just exciting. I mean, it's so cool to have an opportunity to make the NHL. Really, I'm just, you know, so fortunate to be in that position. So, yeah, I'm just, you know, trying to go chase my dreams. Really, I mean, that's all it is. Just go out and play as hard as I can, and show what I can do every time I step on the ice. And that's really the only way to approach it.
Is it more nerve-wracking?
I don't know. I guess like the nerves would be more excitement more than anything. You know, obviously, sometimes you get nervous for big games in general, but I think it's just because, you know, those big games don't come around too often. So, same thing with this kind of opportunity. You know, it doesn't come around, you know, all the time. Doesn't come around to everybody, and it's super exciting. So, the nerves are definitely more excitement than actual jitters.
What was your reaction when you came to camp and saw who your line mates were?
Yeah, it was cool. You know, different situation than in the past for sure. So, yeah, those first couple scrimmages, it was fun to play with those 2 guys, and you know, I thought we did pretty well. We played with pace and we worked well off each other. So, you know, a bit of a different look tonight, but I think it's you know, similar styles of play. We're going to try and push the pace, and you know, definitely try and be physical now that we're hitting other opponents as opposed to our teammates. So,
Marty, every time he's asked about you, mentions that you have to play direct and that you have to play physical. The physical aspect comes naturally to some people, to others they have to manufacture it. Where are you on that spectrum, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, I've always liked to think I had a physical aspect to my game, but I think it's just become more prevalent over the past couple seasons, especially last year, and definitely down the stretch in playoffs. I think my role changed a little bit in Laval, and I think I started to play a little bit more physically. And honestly, I think playing with Flo last year was pretty fun. You know, the 2 of us getting to throw our weight around was, you know, different change, or like a change of play style, I guess. So, yeah, I think I've kind of embraced it a little bit more, and I'm looking forward to it tonight.
Do you find it something that you have to consciously tell yourself to do, or does it just happen naturally when you're on the ice? Or
yeah, I think it just kind of happens naturally, but I find if I'm kind of lacking it a little bit, you know, to start a game, I'll consciously tell myself to, you know, maybe to look to, you know, throw a hit and get involved physically, and you know, it doesn't have anything to do with like chasing or putting yourself out of position, but you know, I think just it's an important part of my game, as you guys have heard, and you know, I think it's important to make sure I'm staying on top of that.
Is it also tied to your comfort level? Like, as you know the territory and you're getting more and more comfortable at that level, you know that this is a part of your game that you can exploit more.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm, you know, I've kind of been just a stronger kid growing up, I guess. You know, I think fairly physically mature at a younger age. So, yeah, definitely as I've gotten more comfortable with it and, you know, become more of a, had a few training camps under my belt, I should say. You definitely feel a little bit more comfortable throwing your weight around. You know, you're not as nervous, I guess, to try and throw, a hit that might pull you out of position. But, I think you just get comfortable learning this pace, learning this style of play, and you get, you know where to pick your spots.
What does you playing direct look like? I imagine you've heard all the things that Marty's told us about you, but a direct Owen Beck, what is that?
Yeah, I think it's just fast, a lot of straight lines, keeping things simple and making really my first read and trusting that. I think, not second-guessing myself and not, trying to hold on to the puck too long. That's kind of what gets me into trouble, I find. So I think just being direct for me is just keeping it simple, playing fast, and not second-guessing myself.
I want to ask you about Avery Hayden.